I woke up on a Sunday morning rolling over and just stared at my wife of 5 years. My wife Rose woke up pulling my head to hers, kissing me very gently. "Steve, please not this morning. You wore me out last night." "I know, honey, but I'm trying to get you pregnant." Wrapping her arms around me, she told me, "You'll get me pregnant, sweetie. You just have to be patient." We lay in bed for a while and talked, and like usual, our talk turned to her work. Rose was consumed with getting promoted to regional sales management position. After a few minutes of that conversation, which I had heard many times, I told her to get a shower. "While you're showering, I will run out and get you one of your specialty coffees." Rose liked that idea, and I was halfway out the door when I remembered my car keys. I knew Rose carried a key to my car in her purse for any emergency that might arise. I noticed Rose's purse on the kitchen counter, so instead of going back upstairs, I would just get the key from her purse. I'm digging towards the bottom, wondering how any woman can find anything in a purse when I see a zipper on the inside. I unzip the compartment and pull out birth control pills. Rose had promised me she went off birth control a couple of months ago as we were trying to start our family. Looking at the package, I noticed a third of the pills were missing. And then in turning over the package, I seen the prescription label. The date on the label was only a few weeks ago, so she was still on birth control. I put everything back as I found it, then went upstairs to get my keys without Rose hearing me. I was drumming up all kinds of thoughts on the way to get her coffee, but the thing I couldn't understand was why she would lie to me about getting off birth control. I would bet money she wasn't having an affair, because when she wasn't at work, she was with me. Yes, she had a very close girlfriend, but her husband was also my best friend, so I really figured I knew where she was almost all the time. The only time I couldn't account for was her work time. I was truly disappointed, as I now thought she just didn't want to have kids, but yet she seemed like she was trying to have kids. It was around 4 p.m. when Rose shook me to get my attention. "Honey, what's wrong with you? It seems like you're in another world, and you have been like this all afternoon. Now, come on, we're going to be late." "Where are we going?" I asked. "Steve, you okay? You know we planned on going over to Bill and Sherry's for dinner." After diner, Bill asked me to help him out in his shop. Once out there, he looked at me and asked me what was wrong. I told him nothing, but he told me, "Bullshit, I know you better than you know yourself, so come out with it." I told him what I had found, and that Rose told me she went off the pill a couple of months ago. We talked, trying to figure out all the reasons why, when Bill told me to hire a pie. "Look," he said, "you need to know what is going on. Look at you, you're a wreck, and it's only been a few hours. Rose is not having an affair," I told him. "Prove it," he hammers back at me. "If you're so sure she isn't, then what are you afraid of?" Hire a pie, then. When he tells you she isn't involved with another man, you can talk to her about kids and maybe better understand her reason for lying to you about taking the pill. Monday morning, I hired a pie that our company uses for security reason as well as other things. We talked, and he told me it doesn't sound like she is having an affair based on the info I told him. I will do some checking both when she is on the job and off the job. Plus, let me check her medical. Women are funny that way, and maybe she has something else going on. Even though the pie checked in with me every few days, I wasn't getting any news. Even though I tried to cover up my feeling, I just wasn't engaging in sex with Rose. Finally, on Saturday, Rose demanded to know why I was avoiding her. I tried to reverse the challenge, accusing her about not wanting any sex, which started a big fight. It was our really first big fight, and when I told Bill about it, he warned me that if I didn't change fast, Rose was going to know I was up to something. With Bill's advice, I put my tail between my legs and begged for forgiveness, blaming my behavior on fear. Rose looked confused, but now she also looked worried, which now had me thinking maybe she was having an affair for the first time. I had troubles keeping myself from going crazy as the days came and went, but Bill helped me stay focused and thinking positive. Around the middle of week 3, I started to think of Rose's birthday that was fast approaching. It was her 25th birthday, and I wanted to do something special. Bill's wife, Sherry, gave me the idea, telling me to have a half 50th birthday party, giving her a walking cane cut in half, and that kind of stuff. It was a Thursday morning when the pie sat with me. The meeting, which I thought would be a 30-minute meeting at the most, lasted more than 2 hours. After the pie left, I sat alone in a trance until the phone rang. Bill called me knowing I was meeting with the pie. I told him we needed to meet, plus I needed a drink, one with lots of alcohol. About the time Bill came into the bar, I was on my third drink. Bill took one look at me and said this isn't good, as if the shock of what I had learned was wearing off and anger was filling my entire body. As I slid the folder over for Bill to look at it, I told Bill the short version of what the pie had discovered. Bill looked at the pictures with times and dates. Bill asked about the CD in the folder, and I told him it was a video of Rose and her boss banging each other. I told Bill that the pie said that I should watch the video, but more importantly, listen to the dialogue. The pie told me that I would be surprised by Rose's reason for being there. Bill called his wife and told her to take Rose to the movies or the mall, as we were planning her birthday party. Sherry, of course, got excited, thinking she was helping with something good for Rose. Bill and I watched the CD, which brought tears to my eyes, and the pie was right, as I was totally surprised at the reason Rose was with her boss. Rose was fucking her boss for one reason, and that was to get the promotion that she had talked about all these months. Together we sat quietly and just drank, with the only words being spoken were, "You want another drink?" and of course my response being yes. After much silence, I told Bill, if Rose came to me and told me that she had fallen in love with her boss, or if she told me that she just wasn't satisfied with the sex she was getting from me and needed something more, I know that I will be able to cope with it. Sure, I'd be hurt just as I am right now. The fact I'd be full of hurt and disappointment. I'd feel like even though I have given my marriage my all, I'd feel like I let Rose down. Now to sit here and watch my wife fuck her boss just to get a damn promotion, well, I'm more than hurt. I'm also mad as hell, and by God, Rose is going to feel how mad I am. Bill then said, from watching her and her boss fuck, it's like she's there, but she isn't. You know what I mean? Well, it doesn't matter now because she put her job above her marriage, and now she's going to live with her decision. As Bill handed me my drink, he told me the girls will be home soon. Do you know what you're going to do? Yes, I think I do, looking up at Bill. Next Monday is Rose's birthday, and by God, she's going to get the surprise birthday party she will never forget. I need to act fast, so I will need your help, and I will need to use Sherry if that's okay with you. Sure, Bill said, but Sherry and Rose are very tight, so Sherry won't do anything that will hurt Rose. Don't need her for that purpose, but she knows all the people to invite, and I need you to be there at the party to help execute my plan. I pretended to be drunker than I was when the girls got home, which helped me stay away from Rose. The next day at work, I went to the shipping department and talked to a guy that could do almost anything with a computer. I told him what I wanted with pictures and plus a video, which he told me he could do easily. I called Sherry and told her I was going to use her ideal, but I wanted the party to be a surprise party. We'll have it on Sunday afternoon around 3 p.m., and can you help me? Sherry told me, of course, as she was excited. As I told her, I needed her to call all the people, and then she would need to get Rose out of the house on Sunday for a few hours. Just before we hung up, I told her I would tell Rose's parents. Next, I went over to Rose's work asking her to lunch, which she told me she couldn't as she was to be in a meeting. That was fine because the reason I went there was to invite her boss to her birthday party. I told him it was a surprise birthday party for her, and if he could come, that would be great. Hell, bring the wife, it will be fun. If you can come, which I hope you can, please park at the grade school. That way, when her friend brings her home, she won't see all the cars. My bubby will be escorting the guests from the school to my house. It will be fun, hope you make it. Next, after work, I went to Rose's parents' house, telling them my idea for the birthday party. Rose's mom got together some pictures of Rose from childbirth up to our wedding. Later that night, I went to the computer guy's house. I showed him everything I had and gave him my ideal of how I wanted the evening to go. He didn't say much, but after listening to me, he suggested a different way which would have a bigger impact on everyone. I like what he suggested, and after agreeing to his ideal, he told me he would have it done and ready for me by Saturday. Wednesday, I went to a lawyer's office and started the divorce papers, with the reason being adultery. Also, the attorney told me to sue her boss and the company that they work for. The attorney told me he could almost guarantee some money from Rose's company. Friday evening, I had Bill sitting across the table from me. When you think things can't get worse, they seem to find a way, I said. Bill asked me what I meant. Well, Wednesday when I went to see the attorney, I spent more time there than I thought I would. When I left the attorney's office, my mind was filled up with my marriage problems, causing me to forget to go back to work and send off the bid for a job. The company lost out on the job, so today they suspended me for 30 days without pay. If it wasn't for my boss who knows that my marriage is going down the tubes, I would have been fired. My boss wants me far away from Rose and this mess so I can get my head screwed back on. He gave me his timeshare that he has in Mexico to use, telling me that if I want to keep my job, I'll be in Mexico no later than Wednesday. Are you going? Bill asked. Hell yes, I can't lose this job. Now let's get on with the dose. And what if it's at Rose's surprise birthday party? I explained how the pictures were going to be displayed and also how I hoped the evening to go. Once I started the picture event, Bill was to make sure that Rose's boss didn't get away, as I wanted him to see the entire show. I also told Bill that the guy playing the bartender was also going to be serving the divorce papers to Rose and as well as papers to her boss. When I got home, Rose was mad as she wanted to know where I was. I told her I was with Bill, no big deal. It is a big deal because I come home early to give you some really good news and you weren't here. Rose went off on me, telling me that I was drinking way too much, plus you have been avoiding me. It's as though you have a girlfriend, Rose yelled. I got red-faced. I was so mad, and when Rose seen how red-faced and mad I was, I could tell she was now worried. How could she accuse me of having a girlfriend when she is fucking her boss to get a goddamn job promotion? I was just about to lose it and scream at her when I heard Bill's voice in my head warning me again. I again put my tail between my legs, telling her I was sorry. I don't have a girlfriend and please tell me the good news. Well, she said, getting very excited. I got the promotion and starting next month, I'm the new regional sales manager. Rose jumped up and down, then ran into my arms, hugging me tightly, then surprising me again when I didn't think she could. With her arms still around me, hugging me tight, Rose told me now we'll get that baby we want. Pushing her back to arm's length, I asked her what she meant by that. Rose quickly pulled herself back into my chest and quickly replied, oh honey, our luck is just changing, that's all. I can just feel things are going our way now. My promotion came through. I love you so much and I just know you'll get me pregnant. Then she looked up at me and asked, you do want a baby, don't you, sweetie? Rose, seeing the tears in my eyes, thought they were because of the baby, when in fact the tears were because I was soon going to lose the only woman I have ever been in love with. Grabbing me by the hand, Rose led me to her bedroom. We climaxed together. Rose wanted sex again Saturday morning, which I gave her, but I just went through the motion. I was in the shower when Rose walked in to join me. With a very concerned look, Rose asked me if something is bothering me because she has never been able to outlast me when it comes to her love making until now. Don't deny that something is wrong, Steve, because you have been acting differently for a few weeks, plus you're drinking way too much. Thinking fast, I told her I felt the reason she wasn't pregnant was my fault. Looking at her, I told her maybe there is something wrong with my body and I should see a doctor. After all, you have been off the pill for several months now, right? Rose grabbed me, and without answering my question, she started giving me a big prep talk, telling me I was putting too much pressure on myself. She also said that now she has gotten her promotion at work, she too will be more relaxed, and even though she just can't explain it, she knows that I'll get her knock up very soon. I thought to myself, I bet you could explain it if you wanted to. Saturday night, Rose wanted sex again, but this time I did too. It would be the last time for us, so I gave her all I had. I think tough she could tell that there was very little love making on my part. It was just sex. Sunday morning came and I wasn't as nervous as I thought I would be. While Rose was taking a shower, I called Sherry asking her if she had a plan to get Rose out of the house. Sherry assured me that she did and told me she was proud of me for giving this party for Rose, as she knew Rose would always remember it. I almost laughed, thinking, oh yeah, I bet she'll remember it for a long time. When she came down the stairs, I asked her what she had going today. Why, she asked. Well, Bill called and wanted me to help him sometime today, as Sherry has him working on her honey-do list. Great, Rose said, as Sherry wants the four of us to go to breakfast. After that, Sherry wants me to go with her to help pick out drapes for their bedroom. It was 3:10 when Sherry followed Rose into our house with everyone yelling surprise. Rose was extremely surprised and came to me, giving me a big hug, thanking me that she had no clue she was getting the birthday party. After looking around at all the guests, I heard Rose ask Sherry if she invited her boss, and when Sherry told her no, I again seen that worried look show up on her face. I had my two key people in place, and the party took off with people laughing and mingling around. I waited almost 2 hours as I wanted everyone to have food, but mostly lots of booze. With Bill's help, we rounded up everyone and gathered them into the living room, getting them ready for the show of the year. Okay, everyone, thanks for coming. But before we let Rose open the cards and gifts, let's take a look at the first half of her 50th birthday. Looking around, I smiled as Rose's parents, her cousin, and her boss who brought his wife. Everyone was finally sitting waiting for the show to begin. Everyone knew the theme of the party, so they were all excited and eager to follow along. I turned on the TV as well as my laptop, telling them, here we go. The first picture was Rose at 2 months naked lying on the bed. Everyone whistled and jeered as I made the comment, look at the nice spit on her. Rose turned beet red as picture after picture slowly appeared on the screen. As each picture came up, I would joke, or at least explain the picture, plus I'd ask her mom for input, and I soon had a lot of people teasing Rose as we went. There were pictures when she was in grade school going up through high school. When her high school graduating picture came up, I started to tell everyone how motivated Rose is. If Rose sets her sights on something, she will do anything, and she doesn't stop until she gets what she wants. The college pictures of the two of us appeared. I joked and told everyone another example of her motivation is snagging me in college. People laughed and Rose was really enjoying the show I was putting on. Next to appear was our wedding picture with people raising me about the way I wore my long hair back then. Next on the screen was a picture of the building where Rose works with me telling everyone this is where Rose works. The following picture was of her desk at work. I explained she got this desk as a promotion when she was appointed top salesperson. Like I said, when she sets her sights on something, she'll get it no matter what. The next picture showed Rose's boss with his wife sitting at our table at the Xmas party. Rose was sitting right next to her boss with another employee sitting next to Rose. I was nowhere in the picture. The smile on Rose's face had disappeared, and now her face showed that worried look again. I glanced over to her boss, who also wasn't smiling anymore. In fact, I think I caught them glancing at each other. I told everyone that I hope Rose's boss appreciates her dedication, hard work, and will help her get promoted to the regional sales manager position that she so desperately wants. As I finished that statement, I was looking right at Rose. For the first time, I see nothing but fear in her face because she had already told me that she got the position, so my comment now had her fearing that I may know. I hit the button to start the video as I spoke to everyone. I can't express in words how hard Rose has worked to hopefully get the new position. So more pictures, everyone. The video started up showing an empty bed, but you could hear my wife's voice telling her boss that this was the last time according to their deal. The second Rose quit talking, the video quickly changed to show Rose now on the bed with her boss between her legs fucking her. At the same time, you could hear her boss telling Rose, come on bitch, if you want that promotion, get those legs high and wide. Watching, you could see Rose spread her legs wider as she lifted them up into the air. I heard people gasp loudly and many people quickly started to leave. The video again quickly changed with Rose now on her hands and knees with her boss right behind her, holding onto her hips, fucking her doggy style. At the time it changed, you could again hear Rose's boss shout out, damn girl with this glory hole, you'll be promoted all the way up to VP status. The video had run for maybe 15 seconds and still had about 15 more seconds to run, showing 2 more positions, but all hell was breaking loose. Rose jumped up screaming for me to turn it off, crying as she told me how sorry she was. Her boss tried to leave very quickly, but my buddy Bill told him to sit down, and when her boss tried to push past Bill, well, with the help of a fist to the jaw, her boss was sitting. My other key person yelled his name, and when the stupid jerk answered, he was told you had been served, and the papers were thrown into his lap. Sherry was trying to comfort Rose and didn't see the boss's wife come up from the side. Grabbing Sherry by the hair, she pushed her away, causing Sherry to fall onto the couch where they had been sitting. When Sherry fell, she pulled on Rose's arm, turning Rose, so she was face to face with the boss's wife. As she called my wife a slut, I saw a right hook land directly onto Rose's cheekbone. Rose went flying backwards, landing on her, but slowly rolling onto her side. Sherry jumped up yelling as she grabbed the boss's wife. Bill was fast approaching the women when Sherry was again pushed hard, only this time Bill caught her before she hit the floor. I hurried over to stop the girls, but with Rose on the ground and Bill now holding Sherry, I thought the worst was over. The boss lady turned around looking at Rose, calling her names. Rose now was on her hand and knees, and with one hand Rose reached over, placing it on the ottoman. Rose slowly lifted her knee, placing her foot on the carpet in an effort to stand up. Rose tried to stand but couldn't as her head was still spinning from the punch. This left her back towards the boss lady with her legs about a foot apart. I had reached Rose to help her up and make sure she didn't get hit again. In turning my head to see where the boss lady was, I saw her take a full step towards my wife. Then, just like a punter for the NFL, she kicked Rose smack center between her legs. I had just put my hand onto Rose's arm when I felt the impact of the kick rock Rose's entire body. If the boss lady was punting a football, it would have easily gone 40 yards. Rose's body went a good 2 feet up and 3 feet forward. Rose let out a scream louder than I have ever heard. Rose landed on top of the ottoman, bouncing off, falling onto her side. Rose screamed from the instant she was kicked until she finally landed on the carpet. Once on the carpet, Rose's knees came up to her chest. Her hands were between her legs while she cried harder than I have ever heard anyone cry. Bill grabbed the boss lady by the back of the neck, dragging her out of the house, telling her and her sorry-ass husband to leave. During the time Bill was forcing her out, the boss lady screamed, "I'll bet that glory hole won't get you promoted now." Sherry came running over, dropping down to help Rose, yelling at me to get back. Ignoring Sherry, I went to the side of Rose, telling her that I did not plan for anyone to hurt her. Rose was in so much pain that I know she didn't hear me. Then looking down, I seen blood seeping into her cotton pants. I grabbed Sherry to get her attention, pointing to the blood. Sherry quickly told me to call 911. I didn't ride with Rose in the ambulance, but instead took my car. I hadn't planned on this physical assault, nor had I wanted Rose physically hurt. I wasn't sure what I was going to do at this time. Bill, Sherry, and I were in the waiting room when the emergency doctor came to talk to us. He informed me that Rose was going in for surgery as soon as the specialist gets here. He asked me what happened, and I told him that she was kicked in the crotch by another woman. After a few more questions, he asked me if I wanted to see her, which I said no. 4 hours later, the operating doctor came out to talk to me. "I have never seen an injury like this," he said. "The impact hit her at the base of her clitoral area, causing the tissue to just explode from the force of the impact, splitting in 3 directions. I have repaired everything, but I'm very concerned with her clit. If it doesn't repair itself, it will affect her sexually." I asked him in what way. The doctor told me that the clitoral area stimulates the female during sex, making it enjoyable for her, as well as helping her to achieve orgasms. If that area doesn't heal properly, it will make it very hard, if not impossible, for her to achieve an orgasm. The doctor started to turn and leave, but stopped looking back at me. Rose several times made comments concerning her ability to have a baby. "She will be able to have as many children as you two want, but you'll have to put that on hold for a few months, as it will be a while before she can have sexual relations again. She'll be in recovery for a couple hours, then you can see her." I left the hospital a few minutes later with Bill leaving Sherry there. We stopped and got something to eat, talked for a while, and then I went home. Monday morning around 10 a.m., my phone rang and it was Sherry. "When are you coming up to see Rose?" "Don't know, probably tomorrow." Sherry started in on me, so I just hung up and turned off my phone. Tuesday, I walked into Rose's room just after lunch. Sherry gave me a dirty look as I walked up to the side of Rose's bed. Before Rose could talk, I started talking. "Rose, I want you to know that yes, I wanted to humiliate you, embarrass you, and let everyone know that it was you, not me, that ruined our marriage. You have been lying to me about being off your birth control, and you have been cheating on me. Yet I swear that under no circumstances did I plan or want any physical harm to come to you." As mad as I was, and trust me, I have never been that angry in my whole life, I never once thought of physically hurting you. I just hope you believe me. Tears were running down her face, so I turned to leave. Rose grabbed my hand, asking me not to go, and yes, she believes that I would never hurt her in that way. "Please stay and talk with me." Turning, I told her, "No, I just can't. Rose, I will be leaving town today for a month. You see, my mind and heart have been so messed up from you cheating on me that I made a big mistake at work. The corporate people wanted me fired, but thanks to my boss who knows about our marriages, she stopped them from firing me. I am, however, being disciplined, which again my boss helped me. I have been suspended for 30 days without pay. I have been told that I have 30 days to get our problems fixed and to get my head straightened out. My boss has given me his timeshare in Mexico to use and is also letting me cash out the 3 weeks of vacation that I have not used." Sherry blurted out, "You can't leave her, she needs you." Looking at Sherry, I told her that I can leave because I won't and can't lose my job. Besides, I said I had a great teacher as I pointed to Rose, who showed me to put my job first before my marriage. Rose quickly blurted out, I'm so sorry, Steve. Looking at Rose, there's one more thing. I'm far from done with your boss, as I will make him pay for this. I can promise you that there is a storm a-coming for that bastard, and any fallback coming your way is not my intention. The reason I'm telling you this is because I feel you have suffered enough. You better be preparing yourself, though, because I believe that bastard will throw you under the bus to save his ass. The house has been cleaned, all the stuff from the party has been hauled away. On the kitchen table is all the material the pie gave me and the divorce papers for you to sign. When I said divorce papers, Rose squeezed my hand hard, hoping I wouldn't be able to pull away as tears started to flow again. Rose, I left that material not to cause you more pain, but just in case you can use any of it to protect yourself from your boss. I think and I hope you get yourself a good lawyer, Rose. Well, I have got to get going as I have a plane to catch. Rose sternly told me she wasn't signing those damn divorce papers until we sit down and have a long talk. Looking at her, I shook my head. Rose, you still don't get it, do you? You're not the boss anymore, and I don't have to do anything for you. Pulling my hand away, you, as they say, fucked that up. As I started to walk out, Rose yelled, wait, please. I stopped and turned towards her. Rose, with tears running down her face, told me she loved me with all her heart, and when I get back, will I please let her meet with me? At this moment, Rose, I'll have to say no. It hurts too much just to be here with you. Maybe after I get back, I'll think differently, I just don't know. Bill was waiting for me outside the hospital to take me to the airport. It was a quiet ride as Bill already knew just about everything that had happened, plus he knew my plan for Rose's boss. Let me know what happens to Rose's boss, I told him. Sure, I'll call you about him, plus I'll keep you updated on Rose. Why would I want you to do that? I asked. Bill laughed and replied, because you dumbass, you know as well as I do you still love her. I laughed and told him I do love her, but I cannot let anyone walk over me.